Apple is considered the most likely destination for NFL Sunday Ticket. The reports are that Apple would acquire NFL Sunday Ticket for $3 billion per year. Now, the league's agreement with DirecTV is set to end this fall. So this will be the last season that DirecTV has the rights to NFL Sunday Ticket. And this comes on the heels of Apple buying the rights for Major League Soccer. Amazon is going to be the place to watch Thursday night games this year. So if the game is not in market, Amazon Prime is going to be the only place that you can watch to stream the games. If you're not in market, Amazon's going to be the place for that. Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit are going to be on the broadcast for that. And Tom Brady getting $500 million from Fox when he decides to hang it up as well. If Apple is the place for NFL Sunday Ticket, and we've talked about this on the show, I feel like I've been on the forefront of this. When the tech giants get involved, we're talking about another level of money for this league. And I think we're right on the cusp. I think we're still at the tip of the iceberg of what the possibilities are in terms of the amount of money that the Apples, the Amazons, the Facebooks, the Googles of the world could potentially bring to the NFL if they decide they want to get on the game of live sports broadcast rights.
What a time to be an NFL owner, because that goes straight to the NFL owners. They part that in all 32 ways, so that $3 billion, the NFL owners get the majority of that when it comes down to these TV deals. But what a time as well to understand the techie guys, they're getting into sports. They understand streams and Wi-Fi is better than actually having a whole set of cable networks. That's what they do understand. They understand, man, that Apple been around for a long time. Curtis Brown, my corner out of Texas, he's been on Apple TV since the early 2000s. He the one put me on. So to see Apple TV go from, okay, we do have Apple TV, so you know what? Next year after the NFL Network is done with their contract, we're going to step in and give them $3 billion. That's just $3 billion in 2022. In 2023 hit, it might be more than $3 billion. You just never know, Mark. That might just be the starting point from a negotiating standpoint. So between Apple, between Amazon, between all these techie companies, man, getting in and understand, you know what? Football in America is one of the biggest sports in the world. They got more eyes on that sport than any other sport in the nation. So they understand that part. They understand about streaming and they understand about views. So both going to eat. The NFL is going to eat, the owners going to eat, and the tech companies going to eat as well. It's just now the tech companies got so much money, man, they're putting a high price. It's to your highest bidder right now when it comes down to the NFL. So the NFL right now is at a great spot when it comes down to network and streams. A lot of people ain't watching cable no more. A lot of people just watching football on their telephones. A lot of people are traveling more now since the pandemic is over with, Mark. So these tech companies understand that. And all you need is a Wi-Fi. And, right now, depending on your service, you can just get a mobile Wi-Fi portable like I have. So you just need to keep it charged up. So that's just what it is, man. These tech companies, man, this is just a new wave. Either you catch up or get lost with it.
Yeah, I go back to something about a year ago. We had Lee Steinberg, the legendary agent. He's the guy that the movie Jerry Maguire is based off of. And he told us how the 100 of the most live watched broadcasts in the country, more than 70 were football. The vast majority of that 70 were the NFL. So there were some college football games, but obviously the Super Bowl is king. But the vast majority of the top 70 watch broadcasts in a full calendar year were the NFL. So if that doesn't show the country's obsession with this sport, I don't know what does. And so this is why you see the salary cap go up and up and up and up. And you see the valuations by teams. If you look at the Forbes valuations year by year, go and look and see what a team is worth in 2022. Compare that even with just 10 years ago, Ike. And when you see the appreciation on value, it's like, that goes to the owners, then the salary cap goes up. You can eventually pay the players more money. And we're just seeing to the point where I've been on the record saying this, and I will repeat this again. When the tech giants get involved, if they decide to, one of those companies, say, let's take Apple, for instance. Apple alone has more money than Fox, CBS, ESPN, NBC, all of the networks combined. So if they want to get in on the rights and say, hey, we're going to offer the league this amount of money, the NFL has to decide maybe it will take the extra money and we'll figure out a way to be able to distribute the product to people who want to watch and view the sport on Sundays. And so I think that's where we're heading towards. And we'll see how this plays out. Again, this is still a report about Apple right now. I don't know how long this will take, but again, DirecTV's agreement with the NFL ends this fall. So this is going to be the last season. How this plays out is just going to be fascinating. If the tech giants want to get in on it, this could totally change the game. I could totally change the game because we're talking about a different stratosphere with the amount of money that could be coming to the league.
Well, you're talking about if Apple comes through, you're talking about, worldwide views. I wonder how many people in the world, how many people are in the world, let alone how many people have an Apple product, and that's just how I look at it. So, for the NFL, that's a no-brainer. Now, yeah, of course, America, we got this for sure. But now we get to hear Brazil, we get to hear China, we get to hear Russia, we get to hear Australia, we get to hear Hawaii, we get to hit all these other countries. We get to hit Canada, we get to hit all these other countries, and it's just off of streams and just a Wi-Fi. So now you just tapping into, maybe you might be tapping into your local bars or local community stores where they have Wi-Fi, but people might not have Wi-Fi at their house, but they can go to a local bar. Their local bar have Wi-Fi. They just might be able to watch it either on the TV or on their phone. That's where Apple is at right now. And we talking about this going, worldwide, not just in the United States. So I think Apple has a clear shot after this year, Mark, to kind of put a stamp on being, the main programmer or network for the NFL. The NFL knows, Apple got a lot of money. It's a lot of people with iPhones.
I think that's a great point too, because the two global sports right now, I think the NBA has done a great job, but then soccer as well. But if you took the interest, because in the United States, football is king, but you took that interest and parlayed that of football. You say football when you're in Europe, you're talking about an entirely different sport with soccer.
Right.
But if you develop interest there in other parts of the world, the possibilities, in my opinion, are just endless of what this could eventually lead to. And, we could be talking about it being obsolete of, hey, remember when the Thursday or the Sunday night game was on NBC, or remember when the ESPN had Monday Night Football? Again, if the tech giants decide they want to get involved, they have more capital to where if they really, really want these streaming services, they could have that to offer to viewers. And then so viewers are going to have to adapt and say, I have to figure out how I can configure my devices to be able to watch. But a lot of times it's easier. And Ike, it's funny you say this, how many Apple devices there are. I got my iPhone right here. I'm recording this on my MacBook Pro too. So it's there you go.
Yeah, I'm recording on my Apple phone and I'm holding my other Apple phone. So that's just what it is. Apple just makes everything so convenient and easy. If you don't feel like using your phones, man, you just get your Apple Watch. If you don't feel like using your Apple Watch, you just get your iPad. If you don't feel like using the iPad, then you just get your Air Mac notebook. Apple just, and if you don't like Apple, if you don't feel like doing none of that, man, they got Apple TV. So Apple just taking a big chunk out of everybody's pocket, when it comes down to this tech world, and is also trying to give a lot of money to the NFL. But I think the NFL understands where Apple is going, how many people have the Apple product, and what all you need. All I need is some Wi-Fi.
We'll see how all this plays out. And Ike, I think you brought up a great point. The reports are $3 billion per year. That might just be year one. So we will see how all of this unfolds. And again, I think we've been on the forefront of this, Ike, because I feel like this has been brought up on our show for the last several weeks, where it's I try to see the forest between the trees.
No, I get it. This is your lane. So I just got to keep up or stay in your shadow when it comes down to this tech stuff.
No such thing when Ike Taylor's on the show. IT, you're the absolute best.